if we could, the table vibrates at a different frequency. That is why we cannot go through it
Correct.
as human beings. But if we could match the frequency of the table with my frequency, I don't know how that'll work. I can walk through it.
So like if you look at an electric volt, he has the AC at the top, the alternating current, and the DC, the one at the bottom.
Right.
The DC is your feet, and that's going to be the one that's connected to the earth. The AC is your nose.
We talked about the 3, the 6s, the 9s, and the 12s. Why do we have 12 disciples and then 12 constellations? Like,
Why do you have 12 cranial nerves? And it's just the whole,
is it a coincidence, or is it like you are missing the point?
you might literally be missing the point if you don't see it. The other thing about that is you don't need the representation of money, right? There's just an exchange. So I want X for whatever reason, and we have the exchange and you get X. This is actually the biggest hurdle for most people manifesting, like magic and witchcraft and stuff like that. Praying even, if you will. In your mind, you got the mark of the beast.
Welcome to the podcast where we bring a higher perspective on everything business, everything AI, everything knowledge. And today we have a special guest, CJ. Welcome.
Pleasure be here. Pleasure be.
It took a while to actually get you here,
It did.
and
Did.
I don't even believe you're here.
I
don't even believe you're here.
It's weird, I think, sometimes how things line up, but there's always checks along the way
Right.
when you're willing to pay attention. So some of the conversation, some of the subject matter just of getting here, being here, I think like in a weird way, like getting to the studio, I was able to kind of like drive here and literally kind of drive on an old path. You know, I used to live towards like Moreno Valley. I live further out now. And
The
so it's like
backside.
a lot of energy, a lot of thoughts, a lot of it coming back in. And it's kind of like a check. Sometimes you wonder, especially on the way, is this right? But when you see like the synchronicities, it kind of helps you continue to choose. Because I could have turned around right away and da, but it kind of helps you choose like, no, this is the right thing. And so it kind of gets you excited, gets you a little energetic as to what's gonna happen next.
For a lot of reasons. There are people that I've had on the show, and I've had multiple conversations with people, but you have such ease and knowledge to where when you listen, because I mean I follow you on Instagram, and you've just been very graceful and unselfish with your knowledge. Sometimes it goes over my head. I'm like, what the heck? I replay it and I'm like, okay, where are the books at? So it's great. Towards the end of the show, what I would really appreciate is you sharing, and I hope I remember
Right.
sharing like at least 3 books that you read.
30,
That
40
you
books.
said
We
30.
got books.
All right.
If you want books, we
So
got books.
we got books.
We got books.
I would appreciate that, and my viewers
Definitely.
are probably going to appreciate that as well. So where do we start? Man, I honestly don't know. Just like I told you earlier, I
Right.
usually not script, but I usually have a kind of an idea of some questions to ask.
Hmm.
And today I'm not playing that.
You just want to fluff.
I
You just want
I
to
was just
fluff.
gonna
You're
go
just gonna see where we go. So
because
we gotta
you
freestyle.
flow.
We
You
gotta
flow
freestyle.
like water.
We freestyle. Okay, so we can talk about that freestyle. Free versus fractal, I guess.
Okay.
Right? Free versus fractal. I'm big on terms, especially for myself, speaking to yourself and what it is. In the hip hop community, we call it a freestyle, right? And there's on one side where it goes along to the history of hip hop, where we used it as code
Okay.
back in the day. So what's the word? What's up? What's the rap?
What's
We're,
up?
we're speaking in code in front of your face always,
Okay.
right? But we're speaking in code and we can get information across. More of the freestyle because you're writing it, but you're staying free, more like water. Fractal is the fire. Fractal is the light. Fractal is I'm taking the water and I'm mixing it with the glass and mixing it with the sand, moving it to the perspective of all the images we have. I can rhyme it, collect it, and then put it in a band, we could say. Now we've linked it because we rhyme and we're just flowing in that, right? That's
Rhyme,
everyone's
rhythm.
natural base is rhythm.
Yeah.
Some people embrace it, and some people run away from it. That's the main binary that I'm in right now,
Okay.
you know? And I think that's the part too where in living life, you know, as you expand yourself, there is this, you don't want to get stuck in between poles, between left and right, but it's a part of it, you know? In quantum, you know, I look at a lot of contexts as just containers for energy, you know, and as it builds itself up, it gets more and more formulated. So like the idea of quantum physics or the idea of religion, I look for like the similarities between the two to see if
Correlation.
the correlation, the similarities, the symmetries, and being specific with those terms if we're going to be scientific. Because so many times we'll say that that tripod and that tripod are the same, and we'll just leave it at that. But they're similar. They're not the same. They're similar because similar and same aren't the same word.
Okay.
They're similar.
Okay.
Those two words are similar.
Break that down.
Right. Same isn't same. Similar means it's like it. So many times, like male and a female are like each
I
other.
can liken a situation to something else, but it's not the same. Ah.
And when you realize that, what is? Almost nothing, which scares you a little bit because it's like, you know, where's my stability if nothing is the same? You tell someone their experience isn't what's going to happen, you know, but it's not. It isn't. What happened yesterday isn't going to happen
Tomorrow.
unless you choose for it to happen tomorrow. But that's where you get into the third part of it, right? And the third part again is the key. Whether we go back to hip hop, it's pay attention to the third line. They're gonna hit you with AABA most of the time if you understand what like the structure of a poem. It's two gonna rhyme. They're gonna put whatever they want to say on the third line, and they're gonna seal it with the rhyme. That's but and that's the part where it's like, what context are you in? Because if I say it in quantum physics, they'll have a name for that. They'll call it quirky or call it whimsical or call it something weird over there.
Okay.
If I call it something over here in poem, you know, if they're gonna call it the structure of the rhyme, right? If I call it something in religion, it's gonna be something over there. And the key in today's day and age, even though I was talking to my boy, I was like, "I think we're up now." Like, I think I'm old. I
Man,
think I'm
don't get me started.
I think I
I'm
think
still
I'm
in denial
I
that
think I'm odd, but you got kids, you got people around. I'm, like, in between still. I'm like, cause I look and I'm like, "That's what y'all doing over there," and it's like, I look, but y'all not really doing it. Oh, I'm in the middle right now. I see it, and I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying being asked by
you're
you.
embracing?
I really do, cause I don't think you get to be here forever.
Mm.
Right? Uh, I know that actually. I know that with the experience, whether like the heightened experience, you know, like you have an awakening. You don't get to keep it. You try to hold on. You try to hold on when you have the awakening. I know now. You see the information different, and I know that changes, you know? So you have to learn how to deal with that, and life and humanity itself, this game that we're playing, is the opportunity to master that, to learn it, to be aware of it, and to master it. And then the evidence of that, because I used to think whatever, you're trying to inspire me, leave me alone. It's like, nah, you're made of DNA. They might not know what DNA is, but when I look at it, because my brother's a geneticist.
Okay.
So I'm asking him stuff and I'm like, why aren't y'all looking at it like that? He's just like, that's not how we look at it. You know, the structure, corporate way. And like a small way is like math. You look at DNA. DNA is 4 to the power of 3. So you have 64 codons.
'Kay.
That's one way of looking at it. But you could look at it this way where it's 2 to the power of 6. And it might seem small, but when you have 2 as your smallest unit instead of 4 as your smallest unit, you can do more. It's a different resolution. It's a different zoom. So when I look at DNA, I'm like, what are you guys talking about? That doesn't make any sense. But they look at it from a larger perspective. So they're not all the way in. I'm outside the field. So I got to call my brother, like, and he's like, well, if we did it like that, it could probably work, you know? For me, I'm like, especially with math and like the specificity of it, it's like, that's it. You might call it an overlay because you're not applying the logic yet. But from where I'm at, like, give me the tweezers or whatever. Give me the tool. You know what I'm saying? Regulations. I don't have the degree to like be in there, but like the solutions for my brother, he gets like niche. He works for a company. He's not like on his own, but he works for a company and they send him stuff and you have to try to fix it at the genetic level essentially. And they, the way that they view genetics right now is like playing piano like this.
Right.
They don't know how to play chords and
Right.
arpeggios yet.
Well, okay.
And so that's when you start looking at like the rhythms and stuff because then it's not about just the notes that you play. It's about your movements, about how you sing, it's about how you look, it's about what you're watching. And interestingly enough, about like the human experience, that's how we heal ourselves. That's
So now speaking of sound, I mean, because you're talking about notes now and chords, and as you're speaking again, my mind is racing, and I know you will be in a position to actually take my words and put in a bibliography, like you put it together, um, in a more chorded way.
right, right.
So I was thinking last night because I was like going through my mind is going like, what questions do I ask? But I'm like, okay, wait, simple. And I'll like for us to juxtapose physics,
Okay.
quantum physics, um, binary computers, whatever,
Right.
and see how we can tie that to the original library, the Bible.
Okay.
Right. And I'll say this over and over again. This is not a biblical or a church
Right.
podcast, but I always find myself going back there
Yeah.
because it seems like the blueprint. So when he says in the beginning was the word, that's a hint.
Correct.
So when they're saying a word, I'm looking at it like there's sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you are familiar, you probably are, Terrence Howard. He speaks of
Galileo.
he kind of exposed to me the side of the periodic table having sound, like all there's notes in there, right? Um, to where there's notes, there's sound, and there's color,
Correct.
but all that kind of breaks it down to frequency. And I was thinking last time, like, wow, so if color can relate to sound, and that sound, for example, like red would be in the color in the note of E, the key of E. I don't know. Correct me in a proper way, but I'm making an example.
Right.
So if red is in a key of E,
Mm-hmm.
and gold is in a color is in a, I mean, you get what I'm saying.
Correct.
It's like when you have all those things, it's frequency. So if the frequency, let me go back again to the Bible and says he spoke.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm like, wait a minute. So if everything around us, even though we can touch things, we can feel things. I can't remember what book I was reading, but they alluded to the fact that if we could, the table vibrates at a different frequency, that is why we cannot go through it
Correct.
as human beings. But if we could match the frequency of the table with my frequency, I don't know how that'll work. I can walk through it. And again, it's written in the Bible that if you have faith, you can move mountains.
Right.
And Jesus walked on water.
Right.
It's like, and he's telling us that we have the power.
You're gonna do greater things than me. That's what he said.
I'm packaging this because you will answer it in many different, because I know you can go any.
Right. So that's what he said.
So how can we, first of all, how can we unlock our superpower? Maybe we can speak on it. We can start there.
You have to, in a word, it's the heart.
In the heart.
Yeah. In 1991, and again, you talk about synchronicities. In 1991, Dr. Amor, which means love in the like Spanish languages,
More
Amor.
to
Yeah. He discovered that the heart has its own nervous system. Nobody denies this. Nobody denies this. And everyone focuses on the brain. That doesn't make sense. Your heart is intelligent, but it's an individual frequency. I can't tell you how to use it. And you can't tell someone else how to use theirs. That is the hardest thing to learn. Because you're going to ask me, and I'm going to be like, I can give you a guideline. But the specificity of it, yeah, the randomness, the chaos, the uncertainty, don't look at me. How, I don't know. You're creating that for yourself, but you have to learn how to do that. That's the key. Because everybody wants to learn a thing, and this is it. Because someone told me it's you. Right. It's you. But once you have your own reference, then you can do anything, right? The shortcut, because I'm big on like solutions. I don't, like what could I do practically? Every single day you would ground, you put your feet in the ground. Every single day you would match your brain through your nose, your heart. to your heartbeat every single day. That's pretty much all you'd have to do. Because it's more of a physics problem than like a morality problem or anything else. This is why bad people, by the way, get what they want because their voltage is high enough for it to be planted into what we call the environment or the universe. So you need to get your voltage back up first and foremost. From there, it's about how you organize your thought. And it's about the ordering of it. Then it's about the quality. Then it's about the quantity. So practical, like how do you actually do it? You ground yourself. So like if you look at an electric volt, it has the AC at the top, the alternating current, and the DC, the one at the bottom.
Right.
The DC is your feet, and that's going to be the one that's connected to the earth. The AC is your nose.
Really?
Yeah, you just study all yogic material. Don't study like for me, go study with the yogis.
Okay.
They sit around and do this constantly. They don't do drugs.
So breathing,
Right.
is that the reason why breathing meditation regulates the heart rhythm, yada, yada, yada?
Correct. The heart is your frequency if you think about it. If I were to and when you get the right whatever in your system, we can call it endorphins, we can call it a hormone, we can call it anything that hits your bloodstream, it's gonna speed it up or slow it down. If we sped it up to infinity, just did that, we'd be modulating your frequency, wouldn't we?
Yeah.
And we slowed it down, right? We'd be modulating your frequency. Well, you could do that. And that's the trick. So on I think in the Marvel superheroes, the best explanation is the Flash. He can vibrate his body so fast that he can go through. The trick to it and why this world is a little bit more feminine than masculine is that you wouldn't have to go fast or slow
Right.
to do it per se. You could, but you'd have to be a surgeon. You'd have to be like a warrior. You'd have to be super specific to do that. The reason everybody has power is because of resonant frequencies, not specific frequencies. So everything's vibrating. I have to vibrate like you, and then we can start. Everyone's seen the tuning fork experiment where they're vibrating at the exact same. And then what they don't say is when you vibrate at a resonant frequency to it, it has an effect on the same one. It might not vibrate the same way, but it does have an effect that you can start.
Right. I've seen them hit one, the same pitchfork or the same frequency, and then it affects the other one and it starts, okay.
Correct. And the science behind that. Because again, I'm more skeptical than y'all. That's why I can talk with all confidence because I've doubted me more than y'all can, I promise you. But go study Tesla patents. Go study Tesla patents. Going back to what you were saying, though, bringing it back to the main book, and we can keep going back to the first one. The first book for real is the Torah, and go study it.
The Torah.
Go get you one and just study it, even if you don't know. There's AI to teach you, but it's a whole explanation. Go study that. But if you're gonna study the Bible in English, in the beginning was the word, not at the beginning. So the beginning has to be a container.
Okay.
That's the clue. In the beginning. The next clue is was, not is the word. In the beginning was the word,
Okay.
and the word was God. And or in the beginning, God. Put them together, and then you can start realizing. That's what we do with the Bible anyway. Oftentimes in like conversation and stuff, we want to make it historical, we make it linear. And then we go to church on Saturday or Sunday or Wednesday, and we're picking verses out. You're supposed to. You're supposed to pick verses out. The question is, why are you putting those verses together?
Narrative.
Narrative. That's fair, because when you study Torah, that's what it's for.
Okay.
If you pick those verses out and make that culture with this book, that's on you, because you can make any culture with the Torah. So that's more of what it's about. And the cultures that study it in the mainstream, we call them Jews or Jewish, but it's all over the world, by the way. Like Koreans have a huge culture of what they study because it's when you study it past religion, and stop using those words, it's how the matrix works.
Yeah.
It's it goes deep, but it's how the heart frequency works.
Right.
And the heart frequency works in a pattern. The brain works in a pattern and has algorithms that works too, and we can get into the binary structure of that. But the heart's patterns are, I think, what they call ternary. So they work on rhythms of threes and sixes and nines, and they rotate, and they're confusing. and it's hard to understand. Super duper.
Now we're jumping into numerology where it's like numbers matter.
Right.
Why do women carry babies for 9 months?
Why is that so constant across culture,
Okay.
everywhere? What's with the 9 months
What's
part?
even in 9 months?
Right. Well, we could study why there are 8 corners in a cube. Why are we lit in cubes? Beer the night in the center of the cube. But it's like how when you study anything deep enough, it's gonna push you to the same place. That's why I say masters respect masters because they're the same place. But a lot of people are faking nowadays.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
unfortunate
It's unfortunate.
because you should just be humble to the art that you have
Right.
versus trying to confuse other people to pay you or
That's
something,
gatekeeping.
gatekeeping, I guess. But like, it's dangerous. It's dangerous because that's a weird way to build up like what they call your karma or like your wave because you don't have the substance. But it's because the game is everything's vibrating. How many people are gonna be in your context or in your game,
Right.
or how many people have been? And there's a vibration of people you connected with always. And so like, how are you treating that vibration? How are you treating what we call the game? You know what I'm saying?
The matrix again.
Right.
It also answers the question because I know this is a very one of the subjects that I've most debated on this modern day where it's like, how did the Egyptians build the pyramids? It's
Oh,
like, you are failing to understand that they may have been exposed to certain knowledge that we don't have right now.
yeah.
How do they move? Because I mean, they have so many slabs that no technology can lift those
Mhm.
bricks right now. But is it possible that they probably moved those? I'm throwing out Hail Mary here. Um, frequency,
Mhm.
is it cymatics or
Cymatics, yep.
like they were moving these large items with certain sound
Yeah,
technology.
yeah.
Because when you look at again, Joshua went around the
Or in Jericho.
Jericho
Yep.
walking around making sound and the buildings came down.
Right.
They're like, what are we missing here? So for example, I know this for a fact, like which I don't go too much into, but we see the Masons and the Freemasons and Masonics and all this stuff. They still study the Bible, but their digestion of the Bible is way different than most of the sheeple that go to church on either
Correct.
Saturday or Sundays.
They have different information.
Like for example, the coincidence that we talked about numbers, right? We talked about the numerology. We talked about the three, the sixes, the nines, and the 12s. Why do we have 12 disciples and then 12 constellations? Like,
Why do you have 12 cranial nerves and it's just the whole
is it a coincidence or is it like you are missing the point?
you might literally be missing the point if you don't see it. That's that's it, you know? It's the point, the spiral. How do you divide the circle up? The 12. The universe in the sky does it by 12. Your brain does it in 12. And if you don't, it's like, how does that apply? Study embryology, study Dr. Richard King, study the black dot. All the information's out there. And you have AI. And you have AI.
Anyway.
We had to study without it. I got the tail end, but I promise since AI has been out.
Before even the internet, you had to go to the library.
Right. You don't have you can know if you want to know. There's Instagram accounts of these kids in India bending paper and bending foil with you're either going to participate or you're not going to participate at this
And
point.
denial, cognitive dissonance.
And I've been in it. I've been in it. I've been it. I've promoted it. You know, and I think that's the part where you go back into just the fundamentals of the book, forgiveness, but yourself. So many times it's like you come to a new piece of information and it contradicts who you were or what you know, it's like a constant one, but it's like you didn't know. So forgive yourself and then move on. But don't try to give yourself weight. Those decisions that you made were tainted. When I was a child, I spake as a child, I understood and I thought as a child. But when I became a man, but that happens every day. Every single day you get better. That's you becoming a man. So recognize that. And then the meta game is once you start doing this, the universe wants to play with you. Once you say, I know that was great, but I could do better. I know that was bad. I did some good in there too, right? I didn't go out this morning and say, I'm gonna just do bad. But this bad thing happened. This bad thing really happened. Ma called me, something really bad happened in a flat tire, and then I cussed lady out. But I really wanted to like, I ain't start like this. And once you review your data, the universe can trust you. and God can trust you. The devil has to stay away, however you put it in your framework. But again, the key is being able to play both. That's why it's always slippery. Because if this is so good over here, this has to be so bad over here. Because you're in the middle.
Hmm.
You've always been in the middle.
That's why we have two brain, the hemisphere and the brain,
Right. So
left and the right.
you go back to how the Egyptian people did it. The Kemetic people go down.
I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Comedic.
That's fine though. It's right. Right, it's fine, but you keep going down and you're gonna find the Nubian people and you spread out a little bit and you're gonna find the Dogon people. Go find the public documentaries. They go
The Bantu peoples.
the Bantu, really, really, and you get into there, it's like Bantu, kind of like saying black, little. Because you were to tell them, they'd be like, we different than them, you know. But if somebody else could look at us a certain way, we the same right now. You know what I'm saying? Same problems. Bantu is black, but it's more philosophical and stuff. Bantu's not to go too far off, but they get it with their philosophy. They said the whole time you coming down here is you trying to charge up. You're trying to get your energy to a certain level, and then you're trying to let the quote unquote gods, when you go back into it though, the principles, 'cause that's where people mess up. There's certain principles that apply everywhere, and those principles vibrate and have an energy and they work together.
The fundamentals.
The fundament you cannot get away from staying low when you play a sport, and if you reach, you're gonna get taught. I don't care what sport you play.
Hmm.
Now find that in life. Get low. Low man wins. Low man wins one-on-one, and we only looking at the low man 5-on-5. What are we even talking about? It's basketball fundamentals. But ball's only life when you try to sell something and you go to sleep when we wake up at go again? Nah. Nah. Low man wins. But it's not a metaphor. That's where people that's an analogy. That's a metaphor. Maybe I'm stupid. But to me, those are just basic instructions that I'm gonna do on a basketball court and in life. Low man wins. So figure out how to get low. That's the last part. What do you mean the low man wins at my job? Figure out what low is. What's the difference between Black Friday and Red Friday? It's not Black Friday because all of us go out and spend. It's the financial term. What makes your company red? That would be low. That's leverage. That's easy because everybody's corrupt in this world.
Yeah, yeah.
You would have leverage. Get low. For me to jump, I gotta go down. But as soon as you pray, I promise you, as soon as you pray the first time, yes, this is how the universe works. This is how God works. You're gonna pray and you're gonna go down. It's gonna get worse before it gets
Go
better.
down on your knees. See, we got clues all
No, no,
around.
no, the whole thing. It never isn't there. It's
Go down on your knees
before you go up.
before you go up.
Go down before you go up. So I should just go down in anticipation. So I don't, you know what I'm saying? So you want something, and in your mind you think genie, lotto, that's God.
Right.
But nature says, okay, nature's not fighting you. You get it. You want $1 million? You got it. The issue for that one is you don't think about it every day. You don't really want it.
So now back again in your, you talked about a battery. No, you didn't talk about a battery. You talked about us and voltage.
Voltage.
So if I'm not in charge, then I'm being controlled. The voltage, the staying in charge. And if somebody is controlling you, they are in charge,
Mhm.
which means you are not connected to the source
Correct.
of power.
Right.
You're on batteries. And all that again flows into you being put in a prison
Yeah. It's
cell
a prison cell.
to drain your back. So
Right.
it's like, what is, what is going on? And again, it takes me back even to the Romans when they started the games in the Colosseum or whatever,
Mhm.
where it's like, okay, keep them distracted and busy, and they
Correct.
will never question. So it's like everything is intentional.
Right.
It's just a matter of again plugging in,
Correct.
getting connected,
Correct.
thinking for yourself
Mhm.
if you dare to.
If you dare to, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. It's not harder than walking. People just don't do it.
Hmm.
It's because it's more imaginative. People have been taught that they're thinking when they memorize things, or if they
Ooh,
look
whoa,
like
whoa, whoa, whoa. Say it again.
you-
Say that again.
you're taught for 12 years at school that when you memorize things, that's thinking. That's not thinking. It's regurgitation. It's what the the emperor penguin does to its children. That's all it is, and the part that bothers me is the cognitive dissonance. That's where I gotta work on my centering, because it's like, "Why do you wanna argue with me? We see our whole society. I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
There's no kings. We're all down here. We're all vibrating low."
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
the solution is to understand how the principles of the imagination. You have to understand the principles, because the people who don't understand the principles are okay, who can still do it are okay.
Mhm. Oh, okay.
The greats, they can do it. Magic Johnson can do it, but he
Yeah.
can't teach you. Worst coach ever.
Right.
Why is that a principle though? That was the part with me, because it's like I'm not that some of the environment, because it's a mindset, like, and I can tap in. I've tapped in. I've played with people, and they're like, "Oh, you can." I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm not allowed to think like this all the time. I have to think down here. This is how we think. This is who I am."
That's where you're allowed to.
That's what they say, but I realize the great ones, it's you have a certain defiance about you. Cat left at 13. Cat Williams left at 13. Isaiah Thomas is 5'9", averaged 30 in the NBA. What? That's no, and, like, the way he's doing it, it's like, why isn't everyone trying to be you? I know Michael Jordan, everyone could be you. You should be, you know? And that's that part where it's like once it happens, you don't respect it because now there's no separation. It's like anybody can do it. Anybody really has the ability to be tapped in, to charge themselves up. It's just that there's an identity crisis, and this is where the kids, Generation Z, I don't know who names the generations and stuff, but they got it right. Where you get the last generation, the Generation Alpha, they're in between. They can't, like, they understand the principle of the frequency. It's like, is the light on or the light off? And it's like once you flicker it enough, you can be in both states, and they know that. So they're trying to, like, but they can't decide, and it's like you have to do both. You need to go outside. You have to charge your physical body. This is the part, the spiritual.
And I've seen so many videos where you literally consciously say, "I'm walking barefoot out there
Out.
because I'm connecting."
Yeah, I'm lazy. I'm lazy. I'm the laziest. That's the part. It's like sometimes the people around me are like, "Well, da 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 da." I was like, "You could do it. Like, you can't tell me I can't float this, but I can't float this. But you can't tell me that I can't break out of here. I'm just not strong enough to. You can't tell me it's not possible for someone to break and punch the garage or
Yeah.
break and punch the light or you know what I'm saying?
Right.
These things you have to train, but then people stay in their doubt, and it's like, I can't do it. And it's like, guys, all the skills we're supposed to be training are the mental skills because I can learn from doing push-ups, right? And I have. But the focus that it takes for me to spin a little like margarita umbrella is the focus I need to be able to tap in to go make money or tap in to go to the market or tap in to do anything. That's the same. That's what you work on first, but everybody wants the effect and we don't want the cause. And they don't even linearly cause makes effect as people see. But when you go into quantum, you go into harmonics, you see they're connected. You see, so like you have to understand you search for cause first. And then as you search for cause enough, it's going to bring you back towards this middle thing. And in the middle thing, there's a power. But you have to play both sides. There's even for me, it's mental skew versus physical skew. As for me now, it's less mind, less go outside, push-ups, lift heavy things, run, breathe. You've done this. You have the books. You have that because you'll know how, but your body can't even handle the voltage. That's my conversation with like God or the universe. You know these things. You can't even. You have to build yourself up physically to be able to do it.
And I think I understand you more now, because you always align the voltage, which is on and off, on and off. You always align that with binary
Correct.
and computer,
Correct.
because again, voltage is it travels the frequency, the sine waves, and
Correct. Yeah.
it's in the ones and the negative one. It's just up and down, up and down, up and down, which is kind of similar to the zero. But before I tap into this subject, let me go back again into I've there's it's something I've been really meditating on, and I've been thinking so much about where we have categorized, I would say the African, or not even the Africans, just people who are living a rudimentary lifestyle, the tribes that are undiscovered, like in the Amazon jungles. So let me go back to the African because I'm familiar with the culture there like that. When you see for a while, we used to think that they were, well, we were taught
Yes.
that they were uncivilized.
Correct.
But the older I get, I'm sitting there thinking, wow, wait. Because now I like watching, I can't remember, my son likes watching the show, building structures. And most of the time when they're doing architectural buildings, they're moving into a direction of trying to blend with nature.
Correct.
I'm looking at it like, wait a minute, 6,000 years later, you're discovering that it's imperative and it actually looks beautiful to blend with nature. But my ancestors have been doing that forever,
Yes.
and we called them uncivilized. For example, when they build we make fun of them, and this is not the case too. Africa is not made of mud huts,
Right.
but they still have villages that are made of that, and they retain that on
On
purpose.
purpose. On purpose. This is
On
one of the
purpose, we got
things
to be
across
very,
cultures.
yeah, we got
Yes,
to
they
be
do it on
clear with that.
purpose. Right.
So when they make the mud huts, which they made from the earth, from the dirt, and the roof is made out of grass, and all that is biodegradable, by the way,
Right.
to where it can just be dismantled and it goes back to the earth where it came from. No one gets sick. No one breathes anything that is long term. So when I'm looking at them, I'm like, who is uncivilized at the end of the day? Like they are not messing. Like they are one with nature.
Correct.
They are one with the universe. They are one with the earth.
Correct.
Who is uncivilized? When I look at again the way they built their homes, the building structure. Now we live in cubes. I know you touched on that earlier too before we recorded.
Yep.
But their homes, we laugh at them, their huts are
Circular.
the circular.
Spiral.
And then we've learned that energy flows freely
Yes.
in a spiral motion.
Yes.
Now it's perspective, obviously, because it's a spiral motion. It goes up or it goes down. But if you put it sideways,
Right.
it's a
It's a
wave.
wave. In 2D, it's
2D,
a
3D,
dollar
you see it
bill.
better.
Right. Yeah.
Who, again, I'm asking, who is uncivilized? Like when you say DNA holds memory,
Correct.
and they are not going to school to teach them to say one plus one is two. They just flow with it. They may not know the why, but they're in the how,
Correct.
and it's natural.
Right. Side note.
Who is uncivilized?
Right. That and so the union of opposites. Yeah. The ability to be able to bring things together. That's what binary code is. So many times people like 1 0 and they'll put it back together. It's to be able to bring it back together. The why has always been the African, the indigenous fault. Sometimes we're so in tune we don't know why, and we lose the reason. And so when we come into cycles like this, it takes a while for us to find the principle, to even defend ourselves if you look at the last 400 years and stuff, because you don't know why you're doing the things. So then, because I've put a lot of thought into this for there's another perspective where you can see different, and as you can see different, you can see how people are speaking. You talk about color and sound and their correlation. You can see that, and so you're gonna create your society a little bit different. And it's gonna make sense as to why, like someone who could see magnetism, a shaman, for instance, is gonna be like, "What are you guys doing in here? The lights, the tube, the energy, the buzz, all of it. What are you?" For us, we're so like it's not even a problem anymore.
Fair.
Like I think for it's funny because I think phones have been here forever, but it's been since what 2000s early for
Yeah.
it hasn't been that long. We're adapted to it at this point, so it's not I'm not worried about like negative effects so much, but the ability to the ability to see the magnetism is what we're missing because we can feel it, especially on the female side. The women can feel it, but the why, the specificity, so that when it does come point, or maybe the one doesn't want to unite with the zero, and it's more or than love, then you're rooted still. And that's always been the indigenous and the more free and the more matrilineal societies, because when you're left alone, you can do so much. And the model is actually what they showed you in Wakanda. When they hit a certain turmoil, they said, we have to go to the hut. We got to go to the river. And then I think it was in the second one where the protag or the antagonist comes out. I forget what the Kubla Khan or whatever comes out, and he meets him at the river. He's like, "How did you get in here?" And he came through the water. And they're trying to tell you stuff, but like you have to actually be able to connect. And again, if you want to be tech, but have the capability of reconnecting with Earth. They knew as soon as that there was a problem in the technological world that they had to ground themselves back. And it was a movie, but assume that the characters live lives over time and they understand the cycles. And so as soon as they know, we got to have both. And that's always the key. In order for you to create, you have to have both. And in America, we're so good at understanding our opposition, which is why I'm like, everybody's right there. Like, if you know yourself and you know your opposition the way you say you do, you can create anything you want to do, anything. But so many of us are focused on the opposite of us. So you just have to do the work to find you. It's not even like, don't do that. It's like, good job, A plus. You know how they work. Now know how you work. Compare and contrast. Then give it to your kids. That's always been the play.
I always put one and two together. Sometimes it may not make sense when you're talking about knowing thyself, studying thyself, and we have something called chemistry. I'm always like asking root words and etymologies.
Technology.
When you say chemistry, is it chemet story, like studying
Okay,
Kemet,
Met,
the
yeah.
people of Kemet, like studying Kemet, but you've changed the spelling. I get it, whatever. There's
Because
always
of
masking.
languages. Because each language is just a perspective on a ball. How are you going to tell me my perspective on a ball is wrong? It's a ball.
Right. And it's your perspective.
It's only really a ball. It only matters that it's a ball if it's more than one perspective.
Wow.
It's a ball. So I can't just be like, your perspective is wrong. But if we find the root, you called it yellow, and you called it yellow, and you called it yellow, you
We
called it
agreed.
chem, and you called it chem, and you called it chem, and you're doing alchemy, and I'm doing chemistry, and I'm doing Kemetic philosophy. Put them together, y'all. But if you are so dogmatic that you're a scientist and you can't say, because that's how you make your money, because
Yeah.
that's usually where it
Wow.
goes
Okay.
for the adult.
Yeah.
For the adult, it's this is how I make my money. So I can't even think about the opposite to my industry. That's why the industries, because there's no monster and Trump's a distraction. The politics are a big distraction. We're in this situation collectively. You don't get that,
You're lost.
you're lost because you can get your collective where two or three is the key. Like going back to how they built the pyramids, they understood that in mass. They understood the principle of unity in mass. Better or
That makes
worse.
sense.
I'm just saying you can do more when you understand that it's we.
I think it's in the Ant movie too, where they they bring that up.
That was my favorite movie. I used to watch it at the dentist all the
Like,
time.
wait a minute, are they trying to tell us something?
Yes,
You can watch it 10 times and this the light bulb goes on. It's like, whoa,
right.
wait.
But how does the ant get to the point where they can take over the grasshoppers? No one wants to actually talk about it, right? The ant has to think like the grasshopper. But as soon as I start thinking like the grasshopper, you're gonna be scared of me because I'm an ant. But I am an ant, and I would never do that to you as a grasshopper. But for us to understand how this works, we gotta act like, and that's where the masculinity gotta come back in the culture across the board.
Yeah.
Because it's like, no, I don't actually mean this. But you said that there's wartime out there. It's not all war. It's rough out here right now. So we gotta get the kids ready. And as soon as I do that, you're gonna be mad at me. And interestingly enough, as it's balance, it's that male female. Oh my baby, I get it. I understand it. It is actually your baby, but your baby's about to get hurt if we don't do this at 13. He can't count. He's not reading well. He can't count. He can hoop. Right? And I mean big picture, she can't count. He can't count. If he was the accountant, I'm not worried. That's little bro. Little bro got the accountant. You hoop, she gonna invest it for you. That's the family right there. But we're not working to we don't think like that. Like we send our kids out for so like 4 or 5 years, formative years, and then they can't come back. The whole model of school for us is to go out and come back. It's always been that. Go out into the world and come back and help your community. And we just
Mm.
forgot because the community be changing.
But
And
we
then
taught them to go out and go.
and stay out there. You stay out there.
Made it. They're out. Right.
Right.
Really.
Right. And then but like functionally, do we have the tools to maintain cross-generational relationships in the same vicinity? Let's talk about success. You don't have to be in the same house, in the same vicinity. Not I just need you to watch the kid, but like can bro reprimand your kid in the same way that you would, for real, without you getting into your ego at all. I don't know because I'm not a parent. So You know, if anybody does anything to my kid, I'll probably feel a certain way, but I'm talking, like, for real village shit, you gotta
Yeah.
and it's all about dying, sacrificing
Mm,
the individual,
the death of self.
the self.
Now, that's a point. Um, Speak to me about a standing wave.
"Oh, okay."
Standing wave, cosine. Um, why is it important to you?
A steady wave, resonance. So, a standing wave forms between you can see it between 2, but the trick is 3. 2 is, like, way harder than 3. Simply okay, so a simple way to explain this is, tuning forks again, and people show you with 2, right? 1 over here, 1 over here. But if you had a 3rd one, right, now we have a shape, and if we use geometry and we make an equilateral triangle, there'll be a center point. That's the standing wave. We can make one between us, but we're gonna have to get our resonance and our rhythm pretty good, and then a standing wave is gonna form. When you think about what money is, like, I've thought deeply about what money is, it's like, no matter what, you have to help somebody.
The dollars.
Yeah, that's a dollar sign. So then you think about a line, the linear relationship that we have. Can we ride the circular relationship that we have? But what's the circular relationship that we have? Well, that's the point. It could be anything. So can you ride that? And if I can ride it equally and you can ride it equally, right? Then the wave will stand up. And if people understood that, they wouldn't worry about money. They'd be worrying about their relationship. So as you get older, it's not about the physical concept of money. Rich people don't even like talking about it. That's what people don't get. Real rich people don't like the word. Why are we using that word? Let's talk about percentages. Let's talk about equity. Let's talk about these other things around the concept. We don't use the word because it's like pointless kind of to talk about the word. There's mechanics to it. Let's focus on the mechanic. The mechanic gets us what we want or on to the next thing. The other thing about that is you don't need the representation of money, right? There's just an exchange. So I want X for whatever reason, and we have the exchange and you get X. This is actually the biggest hurdle for most people manifesting, like magic and witchcraft and stuff like that. Praying, even if you will. In your mind, you got the mark of the beast. He told you what it was gonna look like. It's the dollar bill. Anytime you wanna go do something, you think about the money first, and I'm not better than you. I know this, and I still think of the dollar first, right? It's a program. So instead of just thinking of how the universe, your imagination, electromagnetism, and inertia is gonna work with you, you put money in there. Think about that. We just put a cup in there. Every time we thought about doing something, we thought about a cup. That's the inefficiency. It's not the morality of money. It's the fact that you're putting something
In a container.
in a container in between, and we put it in between us, and that's where the money is supposed to form. The money is supposed to form in the space between us and the magic between us. That's how you get it to stand.
Not printing bills. Okay.
Right, but that's a whole 'nother red herring because they print it when you don't know how finance works. Is every like they don't loan us money. We know this though now. They don't loan you money at the bank. They don't have a big reserve.
Okay.
They forward you your credit,
Right.
you know? So, like,
Which is yeah.
you gotta pay for stuff. You gotta pay for your food, your water, your stuff that right?
So they're controlling. They're basically managing it for you.
They manage it for you. What they don't tell you is you can manage it for yourself. That's how you get it, and again, that's why people don't understand the principle. People want reparations, right? It's like, "Can I just control where my credit goes?" Because you can say, "Yeah," and you can control it, and it can go to your trust. So, you can set it up, and it's hard. I was talking to Chat, and Chat literally told me you can't do it in the Inland Empire. You need to go to LA or Orange County.
No.
It straight up came out of character. It was like, "You can't." I was like, "Alright, let me go to a bank." It was like, "You
You
can't."
gotta give me that prompt before they get.
I just be talking to it, you know what I'm saying? But I was like, "Okay, for some of the financial products that you're talking about and how you're arranging them, what bank can I go out here?" And they're like, "You can't." And I'm like, "Oh, there's the line right there. Private banking is the line." Because they just form your products better. Because 'cause you're buying a product from the bank. That's what you don't get. You're not storing your money at the bank. You're buying a product at the bank. So they have better products. So when you look at Chase, you look at Wells Fargo, you look at that, look at the McDonald's, Taco Bell, Del Taco, you giving your money to the same level of like corporation. They're gonna make money, but is Taco Bell gonna give you good food?
Wow.
But I go to Taco Bell sometimes. I like Taco Bell. I just don't think you should put all your money in Taco Bell.
Right.
But maybe buy Taco Bell stock. You know what I'm saying? It's just big game that you could play once you understand how it works, and it's not going away. I used to think it was going away, like, it's not going away. It'll change, but it's not going away. You just gotta learn how it works. Cause it's too I realized about life is too there's too many lessons if you're in it undogmatically. I was in a lot of areas dogmatically thinking like, "You gotta do it my way. You
Right.
gotta do it the Christian way,
Yeah.
Adventist
We've
way."
been doing this for
Right, not the principles that I've learned doing it my way. So as I got older, I spent more time by myself, it was like, "Oh, some people don't know that for real, and if somebody around my head or something, I don't know, I'm not listening to them at all." I don't know that. I'm 30 though, like, I don't preach at me, but if you could tell me the principle of the Sabbath is the coldest practice in the world, and I ain't been to church in forever.
You said cultist?
Coldest.
Coldest.
It's the Sabbath is the best thing you should do. Kanye tried to tell y'all. Kanye tells us everything, but you gotta listen and then put it into the right time. You're not supposed to apply it right away. But, um, Kanye says, like, "No, all the people I do business with, they turn their phones off on Friday night. They spend time with their family."
Right.
He's like, "I want that." And I was like, "I had that. Oh, I have that.
You have
Oh, who are we?" I grew up having this heavy, heavy.
you have access to it.
Yeah. I grew up in the culture of keeping the Sabbath strict. No phone, no TV, open the book up, study the sanctuary service. What? And I'm thinking, it's like you're doing your push-ups, your spiritual push-ups as a kid, like, "Pop, no one doing push-ups.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing these
As
push-ups."
a why.
Right, but he didn't know the why either for real. But he's studying. He's in the Egypt. He's studying all his stuff, but he don't know why yet. We don't know why yet, but this is what we're doing. And it's like that's the part where I try to tell my family who's in different spots in their spiritual journey. It's like, don't throw it away. It's worth it a lot. I would tell you if we were doing some weird stuff, we got to get away from that. We weren't. It was just misguided a little bit because it's like you're still looking for the light outside of yourself in the beginning, in, inside, guys. So once you start from there, everything else makes sense. But if you're on the outside, you're automatically lost by
Out of the
definition.
beginning, in the beginning.
Right.
Words.
Where,
Words
I
matter.
mean, when you get into it, the English, you're
Oh, don't get me started. Let me try and see.
go ahead.
Let me try and see where we can go with that.
Right.
So I did get to a point in time where earlier in the introduction, I almost said, good morning. But I try my best, my level best to avoid um homophones.
Mhm.
Because again, if we're speaking frequencies, what comes out of my mouth, because I have the power to create reality out of my mouth. Well, first it's the thought, right? And then out of my mouth, I create my reality. And when we talk about English, the duality of things to where I can say something, but then the world or the universe says, well, I heard this frequency.
Yes.
So when I say morning, when I'm not morning, but why am I saying good morning when it's good? It's oxymoronic,
Right.
right? So it's like when I'm saying morning, when I'm not morning, I think I really started this with my son. We say, we'll say an alternative
Right.
to we're excited,
Right.
happy to see you. The Africans in their languages, actually, there's no such thing as mourning. Like, imagine waking up to someone and say, sad, sad. We're like, why are you saying that? Oh, that's what we say. We say sad to you. And I say, good, sad, great, sad.
Right.
Oh, but we've been saying it for centuries. So it's okay. No, it's not.
No.
My subconscious mind does not know
Right.
that we are okay with this. It's saying, I'm cursing you. I'm putting a spell on you. Mourning. Oh, mourning. No, I'm not mourning.
But
I'm
great.
happy.
Right.
So we're starting there, So again, Africans, they don't say good morning. They say, I see you.
Mhm. Right.
That blew my mind, bro. Like,
Right.
wait a minute. So I wake up. See, I'm saying wake.
Right. Awake, but you
I don't
start
like to use the word
right.
wake
We
because I'm
start to
not
see
in
the
a wake.
program. You start to
You
see the
see what I'm saying?
program.
But
It's in
but
there.
it's
Right.
language, and then the grandma is like the whole negative thing. But I get it.
Right.
But when I rise up, at sunrise, golly, change my whole
Right.
language. When I rise up at sunrise, they say, I see you,
I see you.
not as a person in front of me. I I acknowledge you.
Correct.
You are in
Namaste.
my presence
Right.
and I'm in your presence. We're in the same frequency, and then we go past each other.
Right.
And there's still tribes like that, because I watch a lot of vloggers going into all these countries, and they're like, "Oh, look, they're in a marketplace. Oh, it's a whole bunch of them selling tomatoes, and it's like, oh, it's so dirty. They're noisy, but it's like they're out there,
Right.
happy with nothing.
Correct.
I don't understand what's happening. Where do we get lost? And yet over here we have everything, but yeah, we have all the diagnoses that you talked about with depression
Right.
or sad
Right.
anxieties. We have everything, but we have nothing.
Correct. You have to it goes back to what you're saying, though. You have to spin it. You have the waveform, and we're over here in the Western world, and we have all the tech, and they have all this, and they're over here in the Eastern world, we could say, and they have all the spiritual stuff. They do. We need to trade.
Wow.
You need to trade. That's the sine wave and binary code shows you the natural balance, but that's not the point of Earth. The point of Earth isn't binary. You need to learn binary code before you learn modular mathematics behind decimal, and then you'll see the correlation. But like that one produces it, and that's the math way of saying learn how to play the piano. By the way, you can just go learn how to play the piano, and when you learn harmonics, you can see how like there's a Disney princess chord. You play the Disney princess, there's chords you play, you know the Disney princess is about to walk in. Everybody knows because they've associated with it, but they did the job. It's not we were talking about it earlier, it's about finding the ketone. What makes these little girls feel this way? We don't care which button we press. People care too much. Let's find one that works.
Right,
And
right,
then they
right.
just layer it generation over generation. And now we got a Disney princess chord. And in 1,000 years, we won't because people won't remember, but they're going to be able to use that to evoke the feminine in its younger form because it is that chord is what she's feeling. It's the same thing. You have it inside of you because the human has all of the vibrations inside. You give it context.
You align
You
with it.
are the numbers. You are the frequency, and then you are the thing that's giving everything around you context. Because how much is that worth?
That's crazy. So, and that goes back again to the frequency that was, when they changed the tuning on the key of A from
432 to 440.
432 to 440. Can you expound on that?
Yeah. So we talking about the when you triangulate your frequencies, right? You triangulate your frequencies, and in the center of, or at a center, if you study triangles, many centers, at the centers of the triangle, there'll be resonance points. When you vibrate, I'm gonna tell you how simple this is. You got to try it for yourself. It doesn't seem like the way math should work, but it is the way that math works. You add 4 plus 3 plus 2, and that equals 9. If you do that with any number, again, in modular mathematics, you're finding how things are connected resonantly. So when they changed the base tuning from 432 to 440, they changed it from a 9 frequency to an 8 frequency.
Makes sense to
And
me.
the 8 frequency, and you can count this, by the way, with just the waveform if you keep it simple. But when the total number is 8 as opposed to number, or the signature is 8 according to 9, it's moving into it's not good or bad, but it moves you into a principle of like mental activity as opposed to a principle of stillness. 9 is the principle of the center, and 9 is the principle of stillness. So it's moving you in a baseline direction. From there,
8.
yeah,
Makes sense. So
yeah,
8 to me, there's 4 points,
yeah, yeah.
which
There's
stops.
it's a cube, two
It's a
cubes,
cube.
stop
It's 2
sign.
cubes. So it's like energy does not flow freely.
Correct. It's if the sound is a box, or if the sound is a shape, we're using a box instead of a sphere. So we're using the frequencies of the boxes instead of the frequencies of spheres, the circles and stuff. Again, is it bad? I don't know. Maybe you know what I'm saying? Like it's not about it being good or bad. It's about, do you understand it and can you use it? And we didn't understand it for whatever reason, and they hide it. Raymond Rife cured cancer in the 50s with frequency, guys, and they don't hide it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is a medical industry? I'm not a doctor, so I don't know, but I don't know what you guys do in your spare time if that's information that's out there. Not his specific way, not his scientific papers, the principle, guys. The principle. Like, because once you understand the principle, you can apply it elsewhere. Like Tesla, apply his work. You cure everybody's cancer because cancer is a voltage disease. But don't ask me. Ask the person they give awards to at at the Vatican, not the Nobel Peace, because they have to pay their bills. We're talking about the Vatican. They got everything paid. And you're gonna study Jerry Tennant, and he was sick. He wrote a book called Healing His Voltage. He got the equivalent of the scientific award for the Nobel Peace that the Vatican gives out. You gotta go study other information, and he was basically saying he was a dentist. He used the 32 teeth and traced the pathways as they went throughout the whole body, and he was like, "Oh," he didn't stop there. He was just like, "Oh, the body's voltage. Like, I could see the voltage paths and stuff." And he goes into some dentistry, and he's like, "Yeah, if you just cure the body through voltage, you're good." And again, you can do that through your nose, which is why they knocked it off the Sphinx.
See, they did it again. I'll be following you like,
You just throw it in there real quick.
he was crazy.
It knocked it off. Because what does the Sphinx represent? Just to anchor it real quick. The principle of voltage, Jerry Tennant got an award from the Vatican, and he's saying that he was a dentist, but he had some sort of, I forget what the disease was. He was bedridden. Started moving just a little bit more. That was the first principle. He had to move. He was in bed, and then after that, he started setting the teeth, and he was like, "Oh, the body's like an electric type disease, or an electric type of thing, and disease is just like mismanagement of voltage or just generally low voltage." So um, from there, he started studying the body as voltage. When you study the principle of the body, again, the DC current is connected to the ground, hands and feet, but mostly feet. And then the AC current is going to be your nose. But that's why they knocked the nose off the Sphinx. What does the Sphinx represent? Because that's what Egypt's about. Egypt's not about stuff, it's about symbols and principles. So it's like, what is it?
It's the it's where the key. It's
It
like
has
key.
all the keys right there, lined up with the stars for everyone on Earth to see, regardless of what you look like and regardless of what you believe in. But it has the head of a woman on the body of a lion and a lioness, but it had the head of a woman and a lion, and it's sitting. And it's showing you, because this is where people get lost. Oh, women used to run the world. Y'all did used to run the world. I liked it better when y'all ran the world. But you guys lost the principles because it's not about woman. It's about feminine. Your feminine controls the monster. And this is even a principle I gotta get better at. I'm trying to control it with logic. You don't control this with logic. You control it with the abstract. You control it with feeling. Feeling is the nervous system, the internal. You control it inside. And then once you do that, right? They knocked the nose off the Sphinx, not as something bad, but to let you know how the whole thing works. You knock the nose off. Why?
Disconnection.
So you could, yeah, you disconnect this. So if I can disconnect you from the voltage principle, then the body's gonna come up and I'll just control the body. Because you guys are all the same below the neck. Everybody, red, yellow, black, and white. We know this based on the principle of management or risk management or control. Everybody works the same to a degree.
Yeah.
You individualize yourself once you slow down, put your animal down, and you breathe. And it is that simple because now you're cycling through space instead of letting space pull you. When you breathe, you're cycling. You have control now. You're injecting. One of the small secrets when you breathe is breathe out first. Stop being selfish. Don't breathe in first. Don't take. You should have enough of your internal things to give to your environment first because that's when you go to the next step. We have a field around us, and they study this now. They call it the biofield. Your words go into your field unless they're strong enough to get out. Think about that. You have a film around you, and if your words aren't strong enough to leave, then you're only communicating through like resonance. But if you have a strong word, you have a strong will, a really strong body, then you can get out of your own resonance field. You're really like playing against yourself first, always. And then you have enemies, I'm sure. Or you have opponents. I'm not saying they're fake, but I'm like, if you want to beat them, they're fake. Because if you beat you, they haven't beat them. But it's a lifelong thing. You're not gonna beat yourself tomorrow. But like if you do it every day, then the question you have to ask yourself, this is the one where like as thoughts power you, thoughts power your voltage, you know. So I used to think this as a competitor, but was too, I would say, Christianized, really. I would, like, get you off the hook, but it's like, really, have you put as much work in as me?
Yeah.
Do you love this as much as me? And it was always no, and I was like, "Okay, I'm by you." But if I can't hold this thought for real, for whatever reason, you know, I'm not mentally strong enough to focus the attention, then it goes elsewhere, and lose the thought. But that's actually one of the key tricks, like, have a sentence or a thought in your head while you're doing something. I didn't know people don't do this. Like, just one, like what they call a mantra or chant,
Yeah.
and just one. Like, if you're fighting, like, look for a thing. Most of the time, people don't wanna like, are scared. No, like, look at his right shoulder. 95% of people are right-handed. Look at his right shoulder. That's what you need to focus on the fight, but you're focused on, like, not getting hit or what it's gonna look like if you're a girl, da da da
The
da.
indicators right here.
That don't matter. It only matters if you get hit, right? Alright, well, he can't that's not gonna hit you without that, and that's not gonna hit you without the press. So all I gotta do is actually look right there at your shoulder, but game is free, but, like, it's how much of the concepts can you put together and understand again, it's always right there. The energy of the Sphinx is right there for you to understand, but you gotta layer it and then apply it for yourself right there, and so,
How do melanated beings have access to like rhythmic sets?
uh, 369?
369 back again to 369.
Yeah, yeah, we can operate on thirds. So, uh, like forward patterns, the camera, the anything, everything's worked on triangles, but it can present like it works in squares. So, 2 triangles is when you get to like projective geometry, right? So, like 2 triangles overlays produces a cube when light passes through it, if that makes sense. The hexagram produces a cube, and the cube produces the hexagram, depending on where you shine the light, right? We're on one end, and non-melanated people are on the other end. One is advantageous for the most part. The disadvantageous part is that we won't fight you. It's bad. It's kind of a disease because we get beat up instead of just saying right, and, like, going and handling it, you know what I'm saying? We're, like, too forgiving, and it's a weakness, and it's not cool, it's bad, but, that's our weakness for real. It's like "What's your weakness?" in an interview, like, "I'm too strong," but, like,
What's your weakness? I'm too strong.
because when the light comes in and you have melanated environments, it
Yeah.
bounces. It's like I don't wanna be too sharp, but it's like a dollar in a healthy financial community, we'll say. It bounces around. All science right now is telling you that light
Yeah.
is health. Light is life. That's what they're
Light
telling.
is health. Light is life.
Light is literally health and light. That's what our body runs on. It runs on light. And so we as melanated beings synthesize light better. And so when it comes to the rhythms, and this is why there's a differentiation, by the way, because it primes you to be able to tap into the 3, the 6, and the 9. There's other rhythms that everybody has access to. You could say there's like 6 rhythms that everyone has access to. But the melanated being, when the light hits the cell and the cell hits either mitochondrial DNA or nuclear DNA, again, it is this simple. Y'all gotta look at it the right way. You look at the 3rd codon ring and the 6th codon ring, those those are activated by light, like a certain threshold of light. They can't hold that threshold, they burn. Non-melanated people burn. And because they burn, that's the culture lie, literally. So then you're gonna have whole cultures of people who run away from the light. Yeah, sorry, you're gonna have people who, like, run away from the light and other people who don't. You're gonna get access to the rhythm, and they're gonna stay outside of the rhythms. And so melanated people have access to more it's like the paradox of choice, if you will. Melanated people have access to more rhythms. Non-melanated people don't have access to all the rhythms because they've mastered these. And I think that's something melanated people don't really know. They've mastered their rhythms. Maybe not directly in America. You look at like black, white. Go outside of America.
Yeah.
Start studying with the Russian people. Start studying with the Chinese people. They have mastered their rhythms. But there's some rhythms they don't have access to. And then again, it's the it's what they call the emergent property. It's called harmony. It always exists. So you're gonna come up with something new. And then you're gonna have a competitor who comes up with something, right? If you guys are smart, you're gonna look at the synthesis and there'll be a new one. And that's what life is always building and making new things, right? So the same with like us, like melanated people came up with the company first and have all these things and they have less options over here. And so like they've mastered theirs because they had to do what they call survival. And then over here, we're just kind of chilling, not using it because we have full access to it. We can do it, you
Because you've
know,
been primed not to,
but
or
we've
you've been
definitely been
taught to hate
primed.
yourself so
Oh
you don't
yeah.
find yourself, so you
Yeah.
don't find the power that to tap into.
You have to love yourself to tap into the power.
Again, it goes back, it takes us back again to the voltage, the connection, the
Yes.
charge.
As well.
You are not in charge.
You're not in charge. Think about what that means though. You have charge all around you.
Yeah.
You're not even in it though. You have a aura field around you. It's constantly dancing 6 feet away. Don't get next to each other, guys. It's always around you. But do you know you're in the charge? if we say "the," it helps, right? You're in charge, like, your teacher's in charge when you're a kid, but you're in the charge. I told my teachers when I was a kid, we pay you. Why are you being mean to me? I'm at a
Right.
private school.
And management.
I finished all my work. Why are you being mean to me? I pay you, chill." For me, it literally was, I'm trying to help
Power and
people
control
over.
is
You're not it, but that's
correct.
the thing. You're not in charge. So now they're bugging out. Teachers are bugging out because I'm done with the work you gave me.
Yeah.
I'm not rowdy. I'm helping you. So now you're not in charge because your description you thought put you in charge, not your ability to teach. And that's what happens with our black boys all the time. We get happens all the time, and then you just get over it. You're like, whatever,
I got
whatever.
I
I'm
got you.
cool,
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, it's you have a charge and it's moving. That's why when you breathe, there's this control principle that me for sure. This is like what I got to get better at this year. But it's like you're not in control. Even manifestation at the highest level, you didn't manifest it. You aligned yourself and it came.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a weird one because it's like, "I need to do it," and it's like, the only thing you need to do is get aligned, sir. And physically and physiologically, when you look at binary code, 0 is the trick.
Yeah.
Take 0 out. Use a plus charge and use a minus charge. Use a up arrow, use a down arrow. Use red, use blue. The patterns will become so obvious after that. But when we use 1 and O in our mind, 0 means nothing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Which is not true.
How
Wow.
how can nothing
Yeah,
exist?
yeah.
0, the function of 0 for people who wanna know is if you have a number string and you can't use space, and if you're calculating, you can know why you can't use space, then you use 0. Use the number pad and use 0 to indicate you're going to a new number as the space. But if you have a space bar, you don't use 0.
It's a pivotal point
Right, right. Space. That's
as you
space, guys.
as you transition into the negative
Right.
from +1
To
pivot to plus
exactly,
-1.
to
Okay.
-1. Exactly. It's that center point, but it's an action. When you think it's 0, you start to mess it up, right? So if it's binary and we're looking at, it's just 1 and 0 or up and down. But as soon as you go to ternary, you can see what 0 is. It's obvious. It's the pivot, like you say. It's you're traveling. No, I didn't, coach.
It looks to me like it's a again, it's a 0, it's circular. Energy is, like, in the loop
Yes.
while it's deciding where to go,
Right.
up or down.
Right. I mean, if you
So
look
it's
at
not in
0,
it.
the shape,
Yeah.
it's the Vesica Pisces. It's the circle splitting itself. It's an ellipse. So that's what 0 is. And that happens when you either connect 2 poles and something splits over there, or you split 2 poles over here and something connects over there. Um, and so yeah, binary is when you can study it as plus charges and minus charges, then you can say, "Oh, I can apply it to my breath. I can apply it to my right hand and my left hand. I can apply it to my blinking." You can fix your eyes with binary code. You can fix it with this. You can fix your hands with binary code. The key with, like, fixing and stuff, I've realized by working in the medical industry is I can't fix you. You can fix you.
Yeah, that's deep.
It's and it's you start with just up and down. The wave. Go watch the beach. Go watch the wave. Go watch the pool. Go watch a basketball game. Go watch a soccer game. Go look at the energy. Who cares about? It's something like ball is life. Stop watching the ball. We're not children, hopefully. And if you are, you don't want to be bad if you're a kid. Stop watching the ball. Go watch a 7-year-old soccer game. It's just a huddle all around the ball, right? Now, go watch a pro game, right? They're never doing that.
Beehive.
But watch when someone scores. Just for a second, all the grown men who are pros, beehived. Don't do that. It happens. Avoid it. Or you got to be, like, what's it called? Tiki taka. The Barcelona. Like, we're in the crowd, but we know how to work in it now. We know how the ball works. But if I ask a basketball player why the lines are drawn like this, you're not gonna know. But if you knew, you'd be a killer. If you knew why the lines were drew like, but you don't know why. You don't care about the principle. It just is what it is, and you're gonna go shoot your shots later. I know what I'm doing to space when I shoot the ball. Are having fun, and that could be good or bad, but you don't know. So when I tell what I'm telling, like, the ones I work with,
Yeah.
they're killing y'all, but it's deeper to them because I gave it to them at a deeper level. I didn't make them dig. That's the other one too. It's like we supposed to give it back. So I didn't make you dig for this. I did it this way. You'll learn eventually. No, it just know that, like, you down here now. So now when you know that like basketball takes you to a deeper principle and now you go back to school and they trying to keep you shallow, know the difference. Cause over here, these are principles that work everywhere, and they're trying to think that like, they're at a loose vibration. Da 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 is the PhD level of quantum physics, so we're gonna find the photon. Da 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 da. Are you guys just explaining how one goes to two and two goes to three and three goes to four, but you're skipping three? That's how you solve quantum. But not me, Nassim Harami. He solved it. He's working in like one of the Eastern European countries. And in his presentation, he's like, you guys go from one to two and then two to four. The doubling. You go one, two, and then two,
Or
four, and
8,
four, eight, and that's a pattern.
16,
16, 32,
32,
64,
64, 128,
128, 256, 512, 124, and
and
it
then
keeps
20,
going,
yeah,
right?
it keeps going on.
The trick with that is put the numbers together like they do in numerology, and you'll get a 6-digit pattern. It's only 6 numbers. That doubling circuit, when you squeeze it together and look at it the right way, only 6 patterns. When you do it with the Fibonacci sequence, that goes on forever, it doesn't go on forever, it loops. Y'all think it's a spiral and it goes on forever.
1.618.
Yeah, but that's wrong. Well, that's the decimal calculation, I won't say it's
All the Fibonacci sequence,
yeah, that's
golden.
right. If you take those numbers, so 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and then you get to, like, 13. So with 13, add them together,
Yeah,
and you get 4, and you get the next one, add them together. It repeats. It's a cycle.
cycle,
Right.
spiral.
The spiral.
And the whole nature is built on that. Out here,
Right.
you see the spiral. Flowers are in spiral.
They're trying to they are literally offering themselves to tell you, but you don't speak the language. So, oh, nature talks. The tribes people, if you will, that's how they communicate. When you come to them and you're like, how do you do this?" That doesn't make sense to them.
And they're primitive. They're the uncivilized
Right,
ones.
because you don't know how something works. Because they can't explain it to you because they're so deep inside. It's not a day to them. You know what I'm saying? Like their whole experience takes them.
How does God explain his godness to a
Leave some of his kids behind.
how?
That's what he does. He leaves some of us behind to tell y'all, live with y'all, work with y'all, play with y'all,
Man,
and then we can come back and tell y'all how it works for real. We gonna be reminded how it works, and then maybe because we're supposed to, maybe because we're not, maybe because we feel like it. I don't know.
there's a point in time again. I forget exactly. You had a video out there. It talked about you explained something about a cube, and you talked about Rubik's cube, but then you talked about I think it was dimensional. I can't remember. Do you recall what you're?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. English is so like, let's say I wanted to shoot an energy beam at you with my mouth, right? But I have different letters, different vibrations I can use. I can say ooh, I can say ah, right? And we have a camera who can see it, right? We have a camera that can see like me getting the energy to you,
Okay.
right? If I were to use consonants, and if I were to use, well, I'll just call them consonants. If I were to use consonants, right? They're usually not gonna get you. Like it's not gonna have enough weight to go to you, right? That's the first point. Second point, and like this proof. When you hear a singer at church, gospel, definitely, but just any singer, and they elongate, they're trying to give you a little bit more of their emotion, they have to do it on a vowel, right?
Yeah.
Vowel sounds are open and that they allow energy and intention to be delivered, right? Again, think of this more like geometrically, think of it like I'm a banshee. I'm trying to yell to like push you back. What sound would I use, right? The force will say. So, like, obviously, I'm speaking to you and the force is going to you. But the force, like you say, the spin of it, if you will, right? Each letter has a different spin. So I'm gonna hit the ball at you and it's coming at you because I'm directed at you. That's the physical physics of it, right? But the magnetic physics of it is as I'm speaking this at you, I'm literally hitting you with this spin and then this spin and then this spin and a whole spin. They're different spins, right? You can look at spin in a square or you can look at spin in a ball, right? When you look at spin as a square, so a square is 3D, like we look, so you got just 90 degrees, right? Forward, back, left, right, up, down, that's 6. We got 6 vowels in English. And we can only A, E, I, O, U, and sometimes Y, right? English, when you're speaking, what you're doing is you're sending energy out, but your energy goes in the ball instead of a torus field, and you're spinning it in different directions. And if you want to know what direction, I'm still studying to be specific. I know that vowel sounds are like side spin, front spin. Again, ball is life. So when you say like would probably be top spin. Hit E, would be back spin. O,
Getcha.
I'm shooting it at you, right? Then I hit you with different ones, and then you catch it, and you send it back, and that's what we do with our conversation. But it's geometric, and again, when you study somebody who's like a tribes person, have you ever wondered how the tribes person can talk to the colonizer or the invader? How can you understand them? You know, not all of them, but some of them can. Why? Usually the shaman, because the shaman can see. So even though I don't know what the content of your language is in terms of your language, I can read your intention and the direction of your language to know what you're saying. But like you said, we're advanced over here. It just depends on what you're looking at advancement. Like if I can see your words, your vibe, and all of that, I don't. Who cares what you're saying? You're
Right.
already
The
telling me what
vibe
you're
has
saying.
told has spoken.
Yeah, it's already you've already told me. And so English makes it scientific though. I'm the shaman who's sitting there and it's like, yeah, these people or whatever, da 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 da. But like I go to the tree, like you whisper something and it comes back over here. You like,
Yeah,
wait,
that's crazy.
you know?
Is it true, that us vibrating through our vocal cords is primitive? Like, we initially, this theory, we initially were able to communicate without opening our mouths?
Yeah. Yeah. Have you seen a pituitary gland? What it looks like? Have you seen it for real?
Yeah.
It looks like a male genital, right? When it vibrates, it's gonna release the correct vibration, what's gonna come out as a hormone into your bloodstream, but that's what we were always doing. You have to like figure out it. They trick you with the pineal gland. It's cool. Pineal's cool, but like the reason why the Indians have this here is to bring attention and awareness to this spot as you do because any you have an afferent contraction and an efferent contraction. So you have a movement contraction and you have a feeling contraction. You would never say I'm not moving right now. You wouldn't deny that. But as soon as I say I'm focusing here, you can't prove it. So you might want to say, you know? So as a young girls, young boys, they put it up here so they can focus here because this is the center of control for the hormones. They just tell you to focus your brain in the West. They're specific elsewhere. When you could do that and you can release in the same way though, you think of like simply you see somebody of the opposite sex that's beautiful, right? That's like a gross react, like gross anatomy, not gross bad, but just a large reaction, right? You can fine tune that with this. Once you learn how to focus here, you focus here first. And you're meditating, you're learning how to focus here. That's why they tell you focus here. But that's because it's the master gland and it releases everything. I don't want to go too far off. What was your
No, I got you. No, we're talking about, like, the communication, without vibrating.
yeah, certain vibrations when it's released from here allows you to be more receptive to what you're thinking. So I can
So
catch
that
it.
has to be active. That has to be active,
Yeah.
but we lost that.
Yeah, we don't practice. It's not lost. It's there. Our voltage is low. We don't practice. Like,
Oh, so it's still there. It's not something that, like, I know when they talk about the pineal gland, it's calcified, yada yada, yada, so that we're not able to. Even though I know we're still able to. Somebody has spoken. I can't remember what writing that was, but they talked about, again, the languages that we laugh at is it's a prison trap. It's a trap, so as to not practice that. For example, the way English is contrary to, like, say, the Khoisan's language where they were clicking and clack,
yes.
which, hits the roof of the mouth, which causes the vibration, to travel to the pineal gland
Yep.
that causes the secretion of some chemical on the body and causes you to tap into,
Correct.
like, the cosmos. I
Yeah.
don't know how you wanna put it,
Right.
but, um, which gives you the power to then be in charge,
Be
like,
in
to connect
charge.
with.
Right. It's and that's the one too where it gives you more options, right? Like that's the other one too. This isn't you can consider it to be above the threshold of what other people can do. You can call it a superpower if you want, but my peripheral vision's always it's my peripheral vision's been that. You know what I'm saying? If I apply it to military warfare, I'm gonna get awards. If I apply it to basketball, I'm gonna throw a pass I've probably never seen before. But like everyone already has a thing too. That's the key if you're like actually working on like awakening. You have a vibration. This is what astrology used to be. And if you're in the right circles, you can still find it, you know? But like the it gives you more options. And the reason I'm saying that is because we know what it does. Like, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat for dinner? And we've all frozen because we have too many options.
Too
Right.
many
Too
options, yeah.
many options.
I've often talked about that, like, options are evil.
They can be. They
I
can
think
be if
I
you
think
don't.
they're evil because whenever you're in a situation where there's options, it makes you choose, and when you choose and you oftentimes tap out. How much time? I can't see what's up. 4 minutes. Oh, darn it. I wanted to go into, like, I was going to say just, I'll cut this in now. Oftentimes, when we have too many options, we often drift away from the initial option.
Yes.
That's why I'm calling it evil.
Right.
But really within the last minute or two, if you
Mhm.
can like wrap it up together, why is it that obviously initially we talked about the Bible and control.
Yeah.
Why is it that like for example, growing up Christian as well,
Mhm.
you were told to stay away from astrology?
Oh, so the best answer to that is what the Jewish people think of it. And you know what they say? It works.
Hmm.
That's what they say. They say it works, but it'll stray you away from the rest of the stuff we're teaching. I think they frame that as
Oh,
what God says, but it's math, guys. It's
yeah.
math. You can call it Sagittarius or you can call it 270. You can call it Aquarius, you can call it 180. They're split in 30 degrees, and the reason why you understand that is because it's like study mitochondrial DNA and then study your sign. You're gonna see how frequently your cells like to turn, if that makes sense. Your cells are operating on like a spin, like
Yeah.
and some spin just a little and some spin a lot. And neither is good or bad, but they like a spin. They like to eat a certain spin. That's why you like certain foods. That's why you like certain people. That's why you like doing certain things. And you can find similar people, similar foods, similar things that you don't like. They're similar though, close, but they're right outside of range. And it's because the real thing is this, like, they talk about how the peasants, the old world, if you will, they couldn't read or write. This is a world where people can't count. Right now, though, don't think it's like, oh, back in the no, right now, today, human beings cannot count, don't know where it comes from, don't know why they should do it. If you if you promote a whole mathematical system that can tell you how your body works and like tendencies and almost guarantee you being successful, your system's better than ours. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we gotta talk trash. It's no different if I'm just a better trader than you and you got some ego, you're gonna talk trash. But you only trained with him. You only train with the Christian.
Yeah.
You ain't train with me over here with the comedic guy over here. But the problem is I'm gonna tell you that we have no organization. I'm gonna tell you to go back out there into the world and be whoever you need to be, and then come back and tell me what you know. I wanna learn. That's what I'm gonna tell you. There's no dogma.
Man, and I don't know if this is going to be possible. We don't have to have you come back again
Of
for the
course,
second
it's
time
not
because
far.
I think we have so much
Right,
to unpack and I have so many questions again, and we do not have time for the day. But on that note,
right. I appreciate this.
thank you for coming through, man.
Man,
Appreciate
appreciate
you,
yeah. Yeah,
my
this is
brother.
yeah, absolutely. This
All
is
right,
exactly where I need to be. Trust me. Trust me
awesome.
on this.
Appreciate you,
Exactly what
man.
I need. Appreciate you.
All right,
Yep.
see you guys on the next one.
Peace.
Shop, shop.